Aging significantly impacts sleep quality, but there are effective strategies to address these changes. Understanding the specific actions you can take to maintain healthy sleep as you get older can make a substantial difference in your quality of life. Sleep deterioration with age typically results from several factors that fall into three main categories: behavioral habits, biological changes, and potential medical conditions. These factors can manifest before bed, during the day, or throughout the night, creating a complex web of sleep disruptions that compound over time. A common phenomenon in aging is what's technically called phase advancement. Essentially, the tendency for older adults to want dinner much earlier in the evening, around 4:30 or 5 p.m. This occurs because melatonin production shifts forward in time, causing the body's internal clock to think it's later than it actually is. This phase advancement happens in most people and is considered a normal part of aging. The typical signs include waking earlier in the morning, improved performance on tasks during morning hours, and increased sleepiness in the late afternoon or evening, sometimes resulting in unintentional couch naps. This shift is directly related to changes in melatonin production. Many individuals experience a physical slowdown in melatonin production once they reach age 55 and beyond. In these cases, a melatonin supplement might help boost production. However, it's important to note that not everyone requires supplementation. Consultation with a healthcare provider is essential to determine if symptoms warrant supplementation. If appropriate, starting with a very low dose, approximately half a milligram taken about 90 minutes before desired bedtime, is recommended. The rationale behind taking the supplement later in the evening is to help train the body's system to produce melatonin at a later time, counteracting the early shift. This represents what sleep researchers call chronolongevity, where individuals who previously had one sleep-wake pattern may shift to becoming earlier risers. As circadian rhythms shift with age, understanding your personal rhythm can help you identify when you're most productive during the day and when to go to bed for optimal sleep quality. Beyond biological changes, certain habits that develop or persist as we age can significantly disrupt sleep. One of the most impactful culprits is caffeine consumption. Many long-term caffeine users don't realize that even though they no longer feel the stimulating effects as intensely, the substance continues to affect their biology. Research has shown that we actually become more sensitive to caffeine internally as we age, and studies indicate that adults over 65 take 33% longer to metabolize caffeine. This means caffeine lingers in the system much longer, so consumption should be reduced or stopped much earlier in the day. The habitual nature of ordering coffee with meals becomes particularly problematic when dinner occurs at 4:30 or 5 p.m. That cup of coffee not only takes significantly longer to clear the system, but will certainly interfere with sleep onset. For those convinced they need to reduce caffeine intake, a technique called caffeine fading can be effective. The process involves taking your last cup of caffeine for the day and making it half caffeinated and half decaffeinated for 1 week. The following week, that final cup becomes completely decaffeinated. Each subsequent week, you remove an additional half cup of caffeinated coffee and replace it with decaffeinated. This approach allows you to maintain the ritual, taste, and sensory experience of coffee without the problematic effects of late-day caffeine. Another significant habit that emerges in older age is the tendency to take unscheduled naps. With more time available and potentially less stress, many older adults find themselves dozing off unintentionally. Between 1 and 3 p.m., the body experiences a natural small temperature increase that signals the brain to release a tiny amount of melatonin. This is why most people feel sleepy during this window. However, if you're inactive, perhaps you've already taken your daily walk and find yourself sitting on the couch watching television at 2 p.m., the likelihood of falling asleep increases dramatically. Napping affects both of the brain's sleep systems, sleep drive and sleep rhythm. The consequences can be significant for nighttime sleep quality. The best strategy is to avoid napping when possible. During that naturally sleepy afternoon period, going outside and getting direct sunlight actually turns off the melatonin production in the brain, leading to a much more alert afternoon. It's worth noting that excessive daytime napping can sometimes indicate underlying sleep disorders. For instance, One 63-year-old individual regularly napped after lunch for 1 to 2 hours. A home sleep test revealed mild sleep apnea that hadn't been detected due to a lack of typical symptoms beyond the napping. Once the apnea was treated at night, the daytime napping ceased entirely and activity levels increased dramatically. While naps can be beneficial when done correctly, understanding the proper timing and duration is crucial. Moving from habits to biology, several physiological changes affect sleep ability as we age. One major factor is a natural increase in brainwave arousals during sleep. Sleep becomes increasingly fragmented with age, following a pattern of transitioning from wakefulness to stage 1 to stage 2, then waking again, repeating this cycle while missing out on deep, restorative, slow-wave sleep. Slow-wave sleep naturally decreases with age, while the proportion of stage 1 sleep increases. Unfortunately, stage 1 sleep provides minimal restorative benefit, whereas stages 3 and 4, the slow-wave sleep stages, provide the physically restorative sleep the body needs. The brain simply doesn't have the same power or efficiency it had in younger years. These aging changes are so well documented that the American Academy of Sleep Medicine actually adjusts how sleep studies are scored for individuals 55 and older, recognizing that the biological changes are universal and significant. Since you cannot change your biology, the focus must shift to limiting environmental impacts that could worsen these natural awakenings. Keeping the bedroom as dark as possible is essential, though a nightlight for safe bathroom trips remains important to prevent falls. Maintaining a cool room temperature, chilly but not so cold that winter clothing is necessary, promotes better sleep. Blocking out as much noise as possible tends to work well, though this becomes less of an issue for many older adults as hearing naturally declines. One often overlooked factor is mattress quality. Many older adults have been sleeping on the same mattress for an extended period, but physical bodies change much more rapidly with age. While waiting 7, 8, or even 9 years between mattress replacements might have been acceptable in your 20s, this timeline is too long in your 50s and beyond. New aches and pains seem to emerge monthly, and an aging mattress can exacerbate these issues. If you haven't replaced your mattress in 6 to 7 years, it's worth considering a new one, as this can significantly impact your ability to stay asleep. Remember, your biology is already keeping you in lighter sleep stages. A poor quality mattress will only cause more frequent awakenings. Look for mattresses with substantial cushioning and pressure relief. Good edge support is also valuable, as many older adults sit on the edge of their bed upon waking to catch their breath and get oriented. You want a mattress that combines edge support with excellent comfort and extra support in the center. The prevalence of medical conditions increases with age and disrupts sleep accordingly. Some of the most common medical issues in the aging population include high blood pressure, affecting nearly 60% of older adults, diabetes at 27%, depression at 16%, dementia at 12%, and obesity at 42%. All of these conditions have potential effects on sleep quality. Obesity, for example, can lead to snoring and sleep apnea, which forces you into lighter sleep stages. When dealing with medical issues, the primary goal is to get the underlying condition treated first, as the sleep disorder may be secondary and could potentially resolve once the primary condition is managed. Even without diagnosed medical disorders, undiagnosed sleep disorders become increasingly common with age. Obstructive sleep apnea is particularly prevalent, caused by narrowing of the airway in the throat, leading to disrupted breathing throughout the night. While snoring is one symptom, sleep apnea can also cause gasping and choking during the night, fragmenting sleep and forcing you to wake up to breathe. The current gold standard treatment is a CPAP machine, which works effectively about 99% of the time, though many people find them uncomfortable initially. Most users adapt, but alternatives exist, including oral appliances that resemble mouth guards. The variety of treatment options means you shouldn't feel discouraged about getting evaluated. The focus should be on identifying what's causing the sleep disruptions and then determining the most appropriate solution. Other sleep disorders commonly seen in older populations include restless leg syndrome and periodic limb movements of sleep. Restless leg syndrome manifests as a creepy, crawly sensation in the legs as soon as you lie down, with the only relief coming from getting up and walking around. If getting up and walking doesn't provide relief, the issue is more likely peripheral neuropathy, which requires neurological consultation. However, if the sensation disappears with movement, it's probably restless leg syndrome. This typically occurs before falling asleep while still awake, but it can cause significant insomnia and sleep disruption. Periodic limb movements of sleep is related, involving leg or arm twitching throughout the night. While this might seem minor, these movements actually shift you from deeper sleep stages to lighter ones. Since older adults already experience lighter sleep, any additional lightening of sleep stages is particularly problematic. If a bed partner has noticed constant kicking or movement of the covers throughout the night, it may indicate periodic limb movements or restless leg syndrome. While there's no specific cure for these conditions, addressing underlying factors can help. This includes reviewing current medications, checking iron levels, and ensuring adequate exercise and movement throughout the day, which can be challenging as we age. Older adults often take multiple medications for various medical conditions, and these medications can include antidepressants, antihistamines, and antipsychotics, all of which can worsen sleep quality. Often, physicians are so focused on treating one condition, such as depression, that they may not fully consider sleep impacts. Some antidepressants are highly stimulating. In one case, moving a medication called Wellbutrin from a nighttime dose to a morning dose immediately resolved sleep difficulties. The solution isn't necessarily discontinuing medications, but rather understanding how they affect sleep and potentially adjusting dosage timing, dose amounts, or the medication itself. It's critically important to emphasize that any medication changes must be done with physician permission and under medical supervision. Patients should never independently change medication dosages or timing without informing their prescribing physician. Insomnia is another frequent complaint among older adults. Recent studies indicate that 50% of older adults report insomnia symptoms, such as difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, daytime sleepiness, irritability, and memory issues. Supplements like magnesium and melatonin have shown some benefit, but if you suspect you have insomnia, consulting a sleep specialist or gerontologist who works with older adults is advisable. Regarding magnesium, one study showed it helps elderly people with magnesium deficiency who have insomnia. Melatonin can be helpful, but dosage and timing are crucial. Additionally, many people are unaware that melatonin interacts with various medications, including antidepressants, blood pressure medications, and antipsychotics. If you plan to start melatonin supplementation, informing your doctors is essential because it could significantly affect your other medications. As we've explored, real biological factors change with age, but complicated medical issues also affect sleep in older adults. One often overlooked consideration is medication lists. Many people don't realize that numerous migraine medications contain caffeine. Central nervous system medications like benzodiazepines and anti-seizure medications, cardiac medications like beta blockers, and pulmonary medications like theophylline can all be stimulating enough to significantly impact sleep. If you start a new medication and suddenly notice sleep disruptions, contact your healthcare provider immediately. In most cases, they've encountered this issue before and can suggest solutions that make sense for your situation. Many older adults also take numerous supplements and over-the-counter sleep aids. However, it's crucial to understand that many elderly individuals have historically used PM medications, Tylenol PM, Advil PM, and similar products. The PM component is actually Benadryl, specifically diphenhydramine, which is classified as an anticholinergic medication. Data now suggests, and this evidence has been accumulating for some time, that daily use of these PM medications can lead to dementia. This is not something to take lightly. If you're consistently using an over-the-counter sleep aid, you should discuss with your doctor whether you might be a candidate for cognitive behavioral therapy, which has been shown to be more effective than sleep aids, or whether you might need an actual prescription for a temporary or time-limited situation. Many options exist beyond just supplements or heavy prescription drugs, but having this conversation with your prescribing physician is crucial because many over-the-counter products can be more dangerous than commonly believed. While over-the-counter sleep aids work only in the short term, vitamins and certain supplements can provide more long-term success. Vitamin D is particularly recommended for many aging patients. However, there are numerous considerations before taking any supplements, and proper research into timing, dosage, and potential interactions is essential. Taking appropriate supplements can not only improve sleep as you age, but also provide significant benefits for daytime functioning and overall health. Understanding these various factors, from circadian rhythm changes and caffeine metabolism to sleep disorders and medication interactions, provides a comprehensive framework for addressing age-related sleep issues. By systematically evaluating and addressing habits, biological changes, and medical factors, older adults can significantly improve their sleep quality and, consequently, their overall quality of life.